But by the time we get to verse 5 and verse 6, when Hagar has conceived, we know that things have really gone wrong, don't we, in this story? Hagar starts despising Sarai when she conceives. Really quite a horrible thing to do, as many of us will be able to sympathise with. A horrible thing to mock and despise someone who's not able to have children. But actually, Sarai and Abram's response to this is really clearly wrong, isn't it? Sarai blames Abram in verse 5. You're responsible for the wrong that I'm suffering. Wasn't it her suggestion in the first place? And Abram particularly abdicates all responsibility for this, doesn't he, in verse 6? Your slave is in your hands, Abram said. Do with her whatever you think best. It's the worst kind of male just abdicating responsibility for the situation, isn't it? I've seen it in myself many times. That kind of just blaming, he's not even acknowledging that Hagar is his wife at this stage. He's just allowing and encouraging even Sarai, his wife, to mistreat her. And so we read in the end of verse 6 that Hagar flees away. She just runs away. Now, if you're a Christian here today, you will have had, I think, as I said at the beginning, the experience of trying to move forward in line with God's will, of trying to do what pleases him. But sometimes there'll be warnings that actually the way you're going about it is not in the right way. Perhaps people will speak to you about the way that you're going about it. And it's often easy, isn't it, for us to convince ourselves that we are doing the right thing, that we're being faithful, that we're doing what God has said, perhaps even in his word. And the people that are warning us about the way that we're doing things, they're just kind of judgmental or self-righteous, or they don't know what God wants us to be doing with our lives. We often try to do good things for God, but we go about them in a wrong way. Perhaps something like wanting to look after our children. We want them to grow up in a good, disciplined and orderly environment. Perhaps we end up treating them in a harsh way, discouraging them, not going about things in the way that we should. Perhaps we're even trying to address something that's wrong. We see so much that's wrong in the world about us, don't we? Things that need, and we'd love to put them right, and we try to put stuff right, but we often go about it in such a wrong way. We're self-righteous with other people. We're judgmental or high-handed, or think that people are accountable to us in some way. And so we completely mess up. Sometimes we see that there's conflict and there's division around. There's a problem that needs to be addressed. There's conflict and division, and we just want there to be peace. We know that there should be peace and harmony between people, and so sometimes we just try and keep the peace. But we fail to address problems and issues that really needed us to step forward and address at that time. And so they only become more serious because we don't act. I don't know about you, but I've certainly found myself in a situation a bit like Abram's, where we just find ourselves with a complete mess on our hands. And that is the situation, let's be honest, that Abram is in, isn't it? In chapter 16, verse 6. He is in a complete mess. He's messed up his marriage with Sarai. He's gone from having a faithful marriage bond with her to now having two wives. She's blaming him for the mess that he's got into. He's treated his second wife, Hagar, absolutely shamefully. And she's run off. She's pregnant with his child. It's a pretty bad day for Abram, I think we'd agree. And he might try and blame it on Sarai and Hagar, mightn't he? Maybe he should just point the finger at them. It's all their fault. But actually, if he's honest with himself, he knows at this point, doesn't he, that this mess is a mess of his own making. He's responsible for it.